Welcome to RobotStudio tutorials. You may have seen our previous tutorial about creating a collision-free path between two targets, joint targets, or move instructions. Previously, we were able to create a collision-free path only between a start target and an end target. Now, with our latest RobotStudio version, we have updated the feature. We are now able to create a collision-free path between two or more targets, joint targets, or move instructions. Here we have a station with IRB 1200, with a gripper tool attached, resembling a pick and place application. The red walls seen in the station must be avoided while the cylindrical rod is picked up and placed at a certain position. Here we have already created our pick and place targets. To create a collision-free path between these positions, we can select the targets from the browser tree. When we right-click, we get the context menu. We can then select Create Collision-Free Path. Another way is to click on Path under the Home tab, and then select Collision-Free Path. The Collision-Free Path window will appear, where we can create either a single path or multiple paths by defining targets. Single path would create a single collision-free path connecting the defined targets, whereas multiple paths would create collision-free paths from one target to many end targets. Let's create a single path first. We can add targets or instructions by clicking on the Add button. This allows the user to select the targets or instructions from the graphic window or the path and targets browser tree. We will select the pickup point 1 target as our starting position of the path. If we select only two targets, then one would be a starting position and another end position. If we select 3 or more targets, then we will have via targets. We can see that our path would start from pickup point 1 target, travel via home pos target, and then finally end on place point 1 target. We can remove the targets from the path by clicking on the delete icon. We can select Clear All to remove all targets from the path. If we wish to reverse our path, we can do so by clicking on the reverse icon here. Let's toggle the Add button as we are done defining our targets for our path. If we wish to optimize the order of our collision-free path, we can select Optimize Order. This will minimize the length of the created collision-free path by optimizing the order of the via targets between the start and end target. Optimize order is most beneficial when we have more via targets between the start and end target. We can select Optimize Zones to enlarge the zones of the via targets. Remember that zones are always optimized for additional targets that are added between via targets. Select the parameters for minimum distance to obstacles and minimum robot self-collision distance. We should also select the speed of the generated instructions. After the parameter selection, click on Create. This would create our collision-free path, which is path 10 in our case. We can click on Move Along Path to simulate the generated instructions. We can see that our robot tool gripping the cylindrical rod has avoided all the red walls in the environment. Now, let's look how to create multiple collision-free paths between targets. Click on Collision-Free Path and then select Multiple Paths. This allows the user to create the collision-free paths between one target to many end targets. Click on Add, and that would allow the user to select the starting and end targets from the graphical window or the browser tree. Let's select the pickup point 1 as our starting target. Then, we will select the different place points as our end targets. After defining the starting and end targets, let's toggle the Add button. We can see that our pickup point 1 is the starting target. Place point 1, 2, and 3 are the 3 different end targets. This means that we would be able to create 3 collision-free paths between the starting and the end targets. Under Multiple Paths, we have the option Return to Start. Clicking on this would make the generated paths return to the selected starting position. Clicking on Reverse would reverse the order of our defined targets. We can clearly see that the different place points now have become the starting targets and the pickup point 1 has become the end target. Let's reverse the order to bring it back to what it initially was. Pickup point 1 as starting target and place points as end targets. Let's select the parameters like minimum distance to obstacles and minimum robot self-collision distance. Select the speed of the generated instructions and click on Create. This would create 3 different collision-free paths. We can see that our collision-free path 20, 30, and 40 have been created. We can click on Move Along Path to simulate the generated instructions. We can see from the simulation that our collision-free path from the defined targets is successfully created. If you wish to read the user manual, then please click on the question mark on the collision-free path window. Here you will find all the details to create a collision-free path between 2 or more targets, joint targets, or move instructions. Thank you for your time, and for more tutorials, please visit our RobotStudio webpage.